Hello, so my name is Braden and I am the founder of SlipBoss. So today I'm just going to take you through a quick walkthrough of the platform and the functionality that the software offers. So when you log in, you're first going to be greeted by this slip grids page. This is your main page where you can manage your different slips, marinas, areas of booking basically. If you have mooring balls or you have transient slips or you have slips that people own, you can create those areas of your marina in this location. So you can create a new grid here, give it a name, give it a width and height, sort of how much area you want to be able to draw your slips, as this is a very visual application. So we'll go over to this test grid that I have right here, I've already created. And you can see I have one slip here that's available for public booking, my A1 slip. If I want to draw more slips, I just click and drag, make the slip whatever size I want, and I give it a name. So we'll call this A2. Give it a length, so sort of the max length it can support for the vessel. The depth, how deep of a draft it can support, and then the max beam, so how wide can the boat be. So we'll just say a 30-foot boat with a 6-foot draft and a 12-foot beam. And then the pricing type, so you can give it a fixed price if it's a slip that can be rented out monthly and you just want to have a fixed rate for it. You can also give it a price per foot if you want to rent it out monthly but charge by the foot. So this is more for the monthly option. And then you can also set a rate per foot per day right here that is billed whenever you either book someone on that slip, if it's a transient slip, or if someone publicly booked it, if you allow public booking on that slip. So we're just going to give it a, let's say $2 a foot per day. And then we will say that it's available to be booked. You can mark it occupied, meaning you're reserving it for someone potentially in the future. You can mark it in maintenance if you're working on the slip or it's not currently able to be used. Or you can reserve it if you just want to have like a reserve employee slip or something like that. We're not going to enable public booking on this one since we already have one like that, but I'll just create this one for now. So we've created A2. You can see this nice little quick view here. You can tell the length, beam, and draft that it can support. And that's how you create slips. So you can draw out your whole marina. You can add docks in if you want, just for visual representation. Maybe you have something like this. You can put water in. So if we had water over here, I could do something like this. And then you can erase things. So if you make a mistake, let's say I accidentally draw some water here that I don't want, I can easily erase that. That basically is the gist of creating your slips. You can then share the public URL to this, so then any public slips can be booked. So I can copy that URL. You can also get a QR code. So if you maybe have a post at the end of the slip or something that someone coming by, maybe after hours, can scan to pay for their night at the slip, you can do that. And that when they scan that or when you put in that URL, you will basically be greeted with this page that allows the customer to select the dates that they want to stay. So we'll say 31st to the 2nd. And then you can see which slips in the marina are available that you allow for public booking. So in this case, this A1 is, the customer would have to fill out their information and then pay for the slip. It will also check to make sure that their boat is going to fit in that slip. Otherwise, it won't let them book it. So if we go back here, that's basically all there is to the slip grids. You can create multiple slip grids, as you see I have here. So I have a bunch of other ones, which may be different areas of your marina. So you can sort of organize that however you like. One last thing with that is if you have people who own their slips, maybe we have an owner. So let's see, we have some owners here. Let's change this Braden owner to be the owner of that new slip that we just created. So A2, we'll update that. And now we can see that that slip has an owner Braden on it. So you can assign owners to the slips if someone permanently owns that slip. And then that owner actually has the ability to record absences. So you can give them this custom URL that only they can access with this unique code, and they can record an absence themselves. Basically, the view would look the exact same as this. And if you're also an admin or someone managing the system, you can record an absence for them if you know they're going away, so that that slip can then be booked out during that time. So if I record this absence, let's say for the next 2 weeks or so, let's say they're on vacation, so we want to be able to book out that slip. We can put that into the system, and now this slip will be able to be rented out during that time. You can see here it was by Marina staff, but it would say if it was by them if they use this public URL to record their absence. So then we have our booking system. By default, it will load on the calendar view. The calendar view allows you to pick any slip, and you'll see I have a whole bunch of slips here because this is the slips from all of my slip grids. So if we look at that A2 slip that I just put in, so the absence here, we can see the absence period where the person's going to be gone, so I could book it during that time. Otherwise, it's occupied, so it can't be booked. If I pick a date here to book it, it will just automatically select that date for me, and it will allow me to book that slip. You'll notice I can also add additional slips. So maybe your marina allows for a catamaran that takes up 2 berths to book two slips. So if there was a slip adjacent to this one, you could also add that slip on here so that they can book both of them at the same time. Now, if you've already added a customer in here, you can search for their name and they'll pop up, or their email or phone. We're just going to put in a test customer here for this demonstration purposes. And you have to either add an email or phone number because you need a way to contact them. If you add an email, they'll get receipts and booking confirmations and whatnot to their email. You can add in the boat name if you want, optional. You can add in the boat type. So we'll say it's a monohull. Length, we'll say it is 31 feet, and we'll give it a beam of 12 and a draft of 5. So I purposely went 31 because that's longer than that slip is. Since this is a staff booking, this isn't a public booking, I can put in a 31-foot boat because I know that they can actually fit a 31-foot boat in there. And so I will get this warning, but I can confirm and override that. Now, you might have services that you sell on top of the slip. Maybe if you have hookups or you have merchandise, they want to buy a t-shirt while they're booking their slip. You can add that stuff in here now, or you can always add it in later if you potentially take a deposit on the slip, or if you don't charge for the slip right away, you're just doing a reservation, then you can add these items in after if you want, when you're billing them for the slip. We'll say that they're in person, so we'll add a t-shirt and we can review that. And see the slip rental here, 62 for the one night, $2 a foot. I can override that rate per foot. So if you're doing multiple slips like a catamaran, it's going to take the combined rate. But you can then adjust that if you want, and you can reduce that rate if that's how you bill, and you just have to give a reason for it, so it audits the override. But yeah, that's just an option. And then you can offer a discount if you have a special customer or a friend or family that you want to give a discount to. You can add that in, and then you can require a deposit or not. And if you require a deposit, you can pick the amount that you want to require the deposit for. So we're just going to charge this to the credit card. You could charge it later. That's if you just want to take a booking without actually charging them for it, and then you can come back to this booking later and bill for it. Or we can charge it to an account. So you can have accounts on your system, and if you have, maybe the person that does your day trips, that lives nearby, they have a free slip and they have an account with you, and they can just put stuff on their account. So that is what this is for here. You can see quickly the account number and the balance on that account. We're going to charge this one to credit card, confirm the booking, and it's telling me that this is currently occupied by me, just to remind you that this slip is actually owned by someone. But we're going to continue anyway, and it just sent me a confirmation to that email. And here's a receipt that automatically pops up. So if I want to print that, I can print that. It'll allow it to print to any connected printer, or I can close out, and I can always get to that receipt later. They will get one by email automatically if we input an email. So now we can see that there's a monohull 31-foot in here, and that's booked out now by a staff booking. So that's the purple. We have a visual grid you can book through as well. So you can select dates just like the public booking would. Your staff can also book this way if they want, if they find it easier to look at their grid from an overview, and you can switch between your different grids here. This is why we're seeing a bit of a different view here from what I was working on, because we were working on the test grid, which is this one. And then you can also go to your existing bookings. So you can see all the bookings that have been put in here. You can see if they're paid for or not. You can see the ones that were just reservations and are still pending payment. We'll say pending payment. And then you can go in, you can, like I said, add additional items after, and then take payment. Here's the owners. So we looked at this a bit, but you can add new owners in here. You can either assign slips to them or not. These would be people that can own assets, which are assets from either your inventory or slips. So there's an inventory here where you can store things for people, or assign them to owners. if you have some sort of storage facility or boat yard or something like that. And you can assign inventory to owners. You can search for your inventory here based on categories if you want. So a nice inventory system here to keep track of things that you're not necessarily retailing, but things that would be on site that are associated to owners. Things that you're retailing, on the other hand, would go in the catalog. So catalog items are things that you can retail either through a booking, you can add it onto the booking, or you can charge it separately through the POS here. So if you have something like fuel, and that is a variable price, right? So every time you charge it, you put in the amount that you want billed for that. You can do that. You also have the option to do fixed price items like that t-shirt example we saw, or a per night item. So if you have like some sort of custom booking or something like that, or something that you just need to charge per night, like a hookup, power, or water, you can put in a rate for that per night. Then we can go over to the point of sale system here. This is if you just want to charge someone for the t-shirt when they came up to the counter, you can do that. Again, you've got the option for discounts. You can put in their information if you want, it's optional. And then you can charge it to an account, cash or card, and put in some notes on the order. Finally, we have our transactions here. So this is your entire audit log of how your Marina's been doing sales wise over a certain period of time. By default, it picks the current month. You can see what payment methods were taken, the status of those charges, the amount. You can reprint the receipt here if you forgot to print the receipt. And then you can export this to a CSV that is easily imported to something like QuickBooks. So if you need to have this hooked up to your QuickBooks, you can do that through the CSV export. We also have an analytics page. So this just gives you a better sort of overview of the Marina as a whole, not just the financial side, but the actual occupancy rate and slip statuses and things like that. So this is just a nice little overview dashboard for you. And then you have your settings. So you can see what plan you're on. You can add your custom branding in here if you're on a plan that allows you to do so. You can see that I have it branded with my test name here. I make my test logo. Different colors, so you can pick your theme, right? So if I wanted my theme to be green instead, I could update things to be green. And then gives you a little preview here. And then your payment account. So this is where you would connect up with Stripe to manage receiving payments for public bookings, to manage things like card payments and whatnot. That would all go through Stripe with your and deposit to your bank account. And then if there's any payments from Stripe, so when Stripe's taking in those deposits and whatnot, you'll see the payments going through Stripe here, the history of them. Otherwise, that's pretty well all there is to SlipBoss. Feel free to reach out if you would like a demo or a personal demo. We could show you how it might apply for your Marina. You can always check out the features of the app at slipboss.com, and you can start a 14-day trial there. It'll put you on the ultimate trial, so you'll get access to everything. But if you want to book a demo with us, right down at the bottom here, there is a schedule a demo button, and that will get you in contact with us if you would like to do a one-on-one. We can also help you migrate things over to the platform if need be. Thanks for sticking with me for this, and hope you enjoyed.